Visitor car spaces. If you've lived in a strata building, we're going to tell you the birds and the bees, the do's and the don'ts, and the legislation around visitor car spaces. Stay tuned. Oh,
Good
this is a
morning.
sensitive one. Hello, expert property manager Cleo Whitty. How are you this
I'm
morning?
good. I'm good. Thank you very much. I'm ready for the day. So yeah,
It's a
let's
rainy
let's get on with
day. It's a rainy day.
yeah, we
Um,
need a hot chocolate.
Cleo, this comes up in your job as a property manager of 20 years regularly. You've got to deal with tenants, you've got to deal with landlords, you've got to deal with the personality clashes of these guys, you've got to deal with a strata that's complaining and going
Yes.
to impose fines. Can you tell us a little bit more about your latest one?
So the visitor car spot allocated in a unit block is a very touchy, sensitive topic. Everybody parks
It's
there.
hot stuff. It's hot stuff.
It really is. There's a certain amount of allocated visitor car spots. In some bigger unit blocks, they allocate, almost an entire level, and others, they might only be one little fella or two, and everyone fights over who gets to park there. um, Look, the current case, we're getting photographs of the cars. They're our tenants' cars. They're our tenants' daughter's car. They've recently moved on from one family vehicle to three. Obviously, if you've got teenagers and young children, like young adults, now starting to drive, everyone, needs a car spot. So they're parking in the visitor spot. And there is someone in the unit block that does not like that. So they're photographing the cars each morning and evening, sending it to Strata, and effectively they are in breach of the bylaws. Most bylaws in any unit block stipulate that you cannot park if you're a resident in the visitor's car spot. Black and white.
Can you get fined for it?
Yes. So, for example, in the Carlisle, you get a $50 fine each time they can identify your car and you parked in the visitor spot, say overnight. That fine either gets tacked onto the landlord's levies. First, they might initially send it to the agent to onset to the tenant. However, if the tenant refuses to pay, then the owner effectively pays. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was an owner and my tenant's doing the wrong thing, I don't want to have to pay that fine. And if they continue to do that, you are in breach of the lease agreement and you can have your lease terminated.
Are owners removing their tenants as a result?
I don't believe so. It hasn't ever escalated to that point. If anything, it becomes more of a nuisance. Landlords don't want to be contacted by owners in the building. They don't want to have that discussion. Please get your tenant to stop parking in the visitor's car spot. It's usually handled by the agent. We will, make sure that the tenant complies. Some unit blocks have cameras in the common areas in the car spots for things like this. So you're under surveillance. You might not be under surveillance by, a particular resident who doesn't like you, but you are on camera, if you are doing the wrong thing. So your driver's license plate of your car will get, identified. Have we started
So,
doing that? As
so
far as
who's at
applications go, we don't ask for number plates, um, as a part of the approval process. But I don't think it's far off. You might have to submit your number plate to Strata at one point in the future, so we'll see how that transpires.
Has it gotten worse over the years being a property manager of 20 years, or has it just always been a problem?
always been a problem. It's even a problem in our building. We've got, in the office, there's allocated visitor spots. And if you're driving around Delmar and you're like, I've got nowhere to park, I'm only going to be 5 minutes. Technically, I'm visiting. I'm not a resident. I'm visiting. So,
Well, I guess this is a conversation for for residential and commercial probably as well. Then, now the fines can be up to $1,100 under the Strata Schemes Act, and if it's a repeat offender, more than twice in 12 months, it can be the fine can be doubled. So
yeah,
it's quite hot. Now, I guess the reality is if you're renting a car space in most parts of Metro Sydney, it's probably 25 to $50 a week. In most areas, and if you're going in towards the CBD, it can be even higher. So this is what $5,000 a year potentially. What's 50, 25, 2,500 a year to 1,250 a year. It's an expensive cost for people that they don't want to take on. They'll use the visitors. Who can use the visitor spaces?
visitors, only visitors. So that word is used loosely, someone that is a non-resident. So, for example, most buildings, they have these spots and people comply. If you're only putting it in there for like an hour or something while you move your shopping around, that's fine. But leaving it there all day, all night does irk a lot of people. Have you ever received a nasty note under your windshield? I know I have once or twice before. You feel violated. Someone's gone, you know what? I'm going to write you a note and I'm going to stick it under your windscreen. You're
Yeah,
not allowed to park
some
here.
I know some strata schemes use sticky stuff.
Yeah.
And
To
it's
mess
like,
with your
sorry.
car.
Yeah.
It's,
So
yeah.
so the what about if you put your car in the car space to reserve the visitor's car space for a visitor?
Yeah, you could definitely use that excuse. I mean, why not? In my dad's complex in Warriewood, the townhouses have allocated visitors. That strata and that unit complex, they've just given up. So everyone uses the visitors car spot as their secondary car space. They even park in front of their garaging, right in front. So they've just given up. So now everyone just parks wherever they want. It's a free for all. That system works. First in, best dressed. If you need to park in the visitor spot and there's someone else there, you're too slow. So sorry.
Oh, okay. So that's it, guys. So there's big fines imposed. There's Karens in the block that will monitor it. You should not be using it if you're not going to be if you're a an owner occupier. Cleo, is it a good way to what happened to love thy neighbour? Is it a good way to actually really piss everyone in the block off? Do you see
Yeah,
this happen in property management?
I do. I mean, you've got to be reasonable. If it's getting to the point where you're getting notices from Strata, it's gone too far. You're clearly just abusing the laws, the bylaws within that building complex. There's on street parking. You might need to do a couple of laps extra or whatever, but ideally those spots are allocated so people's friends and family can come and go easily and have somewhere to park within the building securely.
Have you seen this strata? Have you seen it go loco? Like, have you seen people lose their mind and have a massive dispute with the person using the visitor spaces? Does it get nasty?
It can get nasty. I did have one where this is a tricky one. The owner's car spot allocated for their unit lot had this weird, almost like a cattle gate that was put in front to make it like a garage and secure. But the way, excuse me, the way it was installed made that spot smaller. So you can't park a normal car in there. So the tenant would park in the visitor spot because she had young children and she needed to get them in and out easily and not in her allocated spot because of this gate. That was her reasoning. Now, the owners went to the owners corporation and they said, I want the gate taken off. My tenant can't park there. And the other owners within that building would not let them take the gate off because it belonged to the common property. So their tenant can't park in their allocated spot. They're now using the visitor spot, and the owners corporation won't let them take the gate off. They want the gate taken off. Where's it going to be stored? Well, these owners can't store this gate. So it was this whole, car spot gate. And what ended up happening in the end is tenant continued to park in the visitor spot, and eventually she gave notice and moved out. And then we had to relet the property under the proviso that you could only park a motorbike in the car space or a very small vehicle. That's how it transpired. But it was a year-long battle with this lady, with her children, the body corporate being unreasonable, wouldn't take the gate off. So yeah, it's annoying.
I think the bottom line is without liking to admit it, I think every single unit block that has car spaces is goes through these issues. I walked past one this morning and saw the same. Like, yeah, I think you just think, it happens. It's real, but it's one of the stresses of strata living. It's relevant. Know your legislation. Respect your neighbours, and good luck with car spaces, everyone. It's real. It's real. We have to go through it.
And
But those fines are big.
Yeah, they can accumulate, definitely. And look, an owner's not going to pay a fine because the tenant's not complying with the bylaws. Property managers, make sure you're giving your new tenants copies of the bylaws, so then they're aware of the rules of the building. They have their no recourse, and you need to comply with those rules, just like you do with your lease agreement. It's common property, communal living, and yeah, there's rules you got to follow.
Claire Whitty, thank you so much. Have a lovely
Thanks.
day.
See
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.